Okay, welcome guys to another episode of Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. Thank you again for joining. Heavenly Father, I'd like you to guide us and protect us and giving you all the honor and glory, dear Lord. Father God, I pray for the sick, the hungry, the homeless, those that are in mental institution, the prisons, dear Lord, the hospital. Guide and protect each and everyone right now that is watching this live. If anyone is sick, dear Lord, heal them. Guide their paths, dear Lord, and their family in no other name but in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Hi, Phillia. Good night.
Hey, good night. Hello, everybody.
If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday. I want to say, may you have all your dreams come to reality. And, if you celebrated a birthday past weekend, happy birthday. I want to say too, this month of June is Father's Day month. I want to honor all the fathers and just asking God to continue to cover you and for you guys to be the best father ever, right? Okay, Phillia, how you doing? I'm on location in Dominican Republic. I'm in Punta Cana today. What's up?
All right. That is awesome. And I love the fact that wherever you are in the world, you are always committed to your Motivational Monday. It sets a great precedence to show people that when you are committed, there is no excuse. So thank you, sis.
Yeah. Consistency, right?
Absolutely. That is 100%.
Yes. All right. So you have the word of the week for us?
Yes. The word of the week is situationship. A situationship. You know, everybody got a situation.
Yes, you're sure right.
So your situationship is complicated.
Yes.
But a situationship, and it's actually a new word that which we will actually discuss today. But a situationship is a romantic relationship that hasn't been explicitly defined, usually by commission, but a situationship is still a relationship nonetheless.
Wow.
So that's a situationship.
Yes. And that will lead to our topic a little bit on relationships and the types of relationships. Okay. So let me give you a health tip for today. Again, thank you everyone for locking in. We're going to talk a little bit about muscle cramps. A muscle cramp is a sudden and involuntary contraction of one or more of your muscles. If you have ever been awoken in the night or stopped in your tracks by a sudden Charlie horse, you know that the muscle cramp can cause severe pain. Though generally harmless, muscle cramp can make it temporarily impossible to use the affected muscle. Long periods of exercise and physical labor, particularly in hot weather, can lead to muscle cramps. Some medication and certain medicine or medical condition also can cause muscle cramp. You usually can treat muscle cramp at home with self-care measures. And the symptoms is most muscle cramps develop in the leg muscle, particularly in the calf. Beside the sudden sharp pain, you might also feel or see a hard lump of muscle tissue beneath the skin. When to see a doctor? When it causes severe discomfort and associated with leg swelling, redness, or skin changes are associated with muscle weakness. Happen frequently. Don't improve with self-care. And they're saying the causes normally is dehydration, muscle strain, or simply holding a position for a prolonged period can cause a muscle cramp in many cases. However, it isn't known. All right. And they're saying age, older people lose muscle mass, so the remaining muscles can get overstressed more easily. Dehydration, athletics who become fatigued and dehydrated while participating in warmer weather sports frequently develop muscle cramp. Pregnancy, Muscle cramp can also common during pregnancy. Medical condition, you might be at higher risk of muscle cramps if you have diabetes or nerve, liver, or thyroid disorder. Some of the preventions are drink plenty of liquids every day, the amount depending on what you eat, your sex, your level of activity, the weather, your health, your age, and medicine taken. Stretch your muscles before exercise, or you tend to have leg cramps at night. Stretch them before bedtime. Light exercise such as riding a stationary bike for a few minutes before bedtime also may help prevent muscle cramp while you're sleeping. Now again, I'm not a doctor, I'm reading from Google. So that is your health tip for today. And now I'm going to put you on now to Phillia, and we are going to talk tonight a little bit about relationship, the different types of relationships and stuff. All right?
Okay, great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today's topic, which we thought was really interesting, is talking about the different types of romantic relationships. Now, of course, we talk about romance, we talk about marriages, we talk about, having fiancés, friends, but the different types of romantic relationships. So there are 6 different types of romantic relationships, but in general, the different types of relationships can be family relationships, friendships, acquaintanceships, and romantic relationships. Now, under that umbrella, we have codependent relationships, sexless marriages, and also toxic relationships. The one that I would love to embark on is first talking about dating. It is the process of intentionally spending time with someone together and enjoy being romantic.
Right.
Dating can sometimes be about seeing if there's a potential or more long-term relationship, or it can just be about having fun without expectations for the future, which is sometimes called casual dating.
Right.
So in dating, obviously, there can be some commitment, but it also can just mean you could be dating multiple partners.
Right.
It also can mean that you're dating the same partner.
Right.
So which leads me to the opposite of that, which is a committed relationship.
Right.
A committed relationship now is that in the context of couples, the phrase is in a relationship usually means in a committed, long-term romantic relationship. A committed relationship is one where 2 or more people agree to continue being in a relationship for the foreseeable future. There's an understanding that the 2 will continue to spend time together, work on growing in their relationship with each other, and continue nurturing their connection. People in committed relationships may choose to use identities like boyfriend, girlfriend, wifey, partner, hubby, so on and so forth.
Right.
Okay? Now, the next, we'll and you can stop me whenever you can. We're going to go through the 6.
Right.
The next one is casual relationship.
Right.
So, in casual relationship, there is a relationship where 2 or more people may be dating,
Yes.
regularly spending time together, and also engaging in romantic or sexual activities, but without any expectations for the relationship to last in the future.
Right.
So, be in a relationship, it can be casual, but you don't really know if you're going to really be with each other. So you keep it casual.
Right.
These types of relationships are usually more situational term, and they may or may not be exclusive. That's up until the 2 parties involved.
Right. Now, Phillia, with present day relationship now, especially I was asked to talk about this topic today. The dynamic of like, okay, I'm a 70s baby, and we have the younger generation now. and the younger generation tend to do outrageous stuff in relationship. And sometimes they look at commitments in a different standard to us older folks, right?
Okay.
But I was asked the question, would I ask a guy out for dinner or something? And I was like, no, I don't think that I should do that, right? So then I was told, well, no, you can do that because of the generation and the different types of, generation now. They will ask a guy out and so forth and so forth. What do you think about that type?
Okay, so there is something they call, that's like jumping way ahead, but it's called ethical monogamy.
Right.
In ethical monogamy, it's a broad umbrella term for any relationship where people can have multiple romantic and sexual partners at the same time. It includes polyamory, open relationships, relationship anarchy, and many other types of relationships between more than two people. Ethically monogamous relationships can be casual, committed, open, exclusive, dating only, sex only, or some combination of these categories. And people in these relationships may or may not use terms like boyfriend, girlfriend, or partner to describe each other. Okay? So in that type of relationship, I think that in these days, we as traditional women believe that a man should date a woman, should take her out, should court her.
Yes.
But in this age, they say closed mouths don't get fed.
Right.
So if you sit there and you're waiting on someone to make the move, you also have to be aggressive enough to show them that I like what I see and I see what I want. And sometimes that can be a turn on to men, and sometimes it could be turned off depending if it's a traditional man or a man that's okay with a woman that is assertive.
Right.
So for me, I prefer to be a traditional, but I think now that I'm kind of getting more into my prime, I see that there's nothing really wrong with going after what you really want, personally. Okay. I think that I've set a precedence to know that I'm a loyal woman, I'm a good woman, I have great qualities, I can be faithful, so being that way does not change those dynamics of who I am. It just shows that, hey, I'm also very confident, and if I like it, I want it.
Right.
So.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, so continue. Okay.
So in that, I think that last relationship is very interesting because I think it will go into a lot of the questions that we have in these types of relationships that people are more, it's becoming normalized. But in between that, we talked about the casual relationship. I think casual sex is part of that. Where relationships is when two or more people spend time together primarily to have sex with each other. They might see each other regularly for sex, or they may have sex once and never see each other again. Or a booty call.
Yes, right? Or one night stand.
Or one night stand. And they might like each other and enjoy each other's company, but they're not a relationship with each other.
Right.
Usually there's no emotional connection, or a connection is distinctly platonic or friendly, as in friends with benefits.
Benefits, yes. And they have a lot of relationship like that, friends with benefits.
Yes, very much so. So, and then of course that last one was the one I talked about, which is the big one, which is ethical monogamy.
Right.
So, in ethical monogamy, they say there are 7 types of relationships according to psychology. It says, passion refers to the feelings of excitement and attraction.
Right.
Intimacy refers to feelings of closeness and connection.
Mm-hmm.
Commitment refers to the ongoing decisions to stay in and nurture the relationship. Depending on which of these 3 elements are present, a couple can find themselves in one of 7 of these different types of relationships. So before I tell you what those relationships are, I find this really interesting because reading this really opened my eyes to the types of relationships that I've been in and the ones that I actually see.
Right.
So it's interesting where it talks about Passion refers to just the feelings of excitement and attraction, because there are times that you're with someone that you're very passionate about them, especially at the beginning, the honeymoon phase. You're very passionate. Everything is beautiful. No fight. All you want to do is make love, kiss, touch, all these wonderful things. And then years go by, months go by, and time goes by, and that passion now becomes love, and it's not as passionate. You don't feel those butterflies, and you don't feel that animalistic attraction, but you love the person very, very much.
Right.
And to me, I think then that level now becomes to the intimacy, where the feelings of closeness, you're still connected to the person, you still love them in the way that you need to love them. And then again, it goes to another phase and transition where you're just depending on that relationship. You know they're dependable. You know they're going to be there when you turn around. You know they're going to be home when you come home. And then I think what happens is that some people stay in that place. Some people need to be kindled by having date night. Sometimes after children, it changes. So I think if you understand where you are in your relationship, you can find a way to bob and weave in and out of that and make it exciting. As opposed to feeling like you're a prisoner in your own relationship.
So my nephew was telling me that he knows of a couple who the guy is older, and it's a Jewish couple. So he's older, his wife is younger, and he allowed his wife to have a younger man. And he said that is the first time he have seen something like that, because you know, I guess tradition normally wouldn't be something like that. And he was like, the dynamics of it is all of them go to dinner and all of them have a good time together. So then he was telling me too about this Netflix series called Swindler or something, or a movie. And he said with the man now, he was only going with rich women, and take, you know, he had a need. So let's say I'll say, I need my insurance to pay this month, or I need this, need that. So the woman now was so needy that he swindled millions out of them. And he said that they couldn't even prosecute him because it's not a crime.
Not a crime,
No, because it was consensual, you know?
Consensual, absolutely. It's interesting because I really feel like my children's father, my last children's father was that, because when as I said, I found out a lot. Like when I was pregnant with my son, that's when I started finding out. I mean, when I was having my son, I separated from my first husband of 20 years. And then I met him after, and I guess I was trying to fill that void of being in a committed relationship so long. And as I said, I used to pray for somebody opposite from my ex-husband. And then when God gave me that, he truly gave me the opposite. So at the time, it seemed like, oh my God, God answered my prayers. This person is so different from my ex. But it didn't mean because he was different mean he was better. And it was a quick courtship, because within 4 months, I was already pregnant. I had already separated from my ex-husband, but we weren't divorced yet. You know, divorces take, you know, they say those commercials that it take 4 months, but it does not take 4 months to be divorced. So I was already pregnant. My divorce did not go through until my son was born January 25th, 2011. And divorce went through like March 17, 2011. So I was still legally married when my son was born. So I just feel like once my son was born, I started finding out so many things about their father. He had other children. He was paying $4,000 in child support a month, like so much horrible things. But again, I made the decision to stay committed, because I already felt like I left one relationship, a failed relationship. I didn't want to be labeled as a woman who can't keep a man, or, you know, 'cause that was important to me, to show that I'm a keeper, and I stayed for the wrong reasons. But in that, then another child came again, even though I didn't want any more children. And it was like, I guess I need to stay with him, because now we got 2 children together. Not because of love, not because of anything, but because of that commitment. But basically, the reason why I brought this up is because when I did find out all his babies' mothers,
Right.
they're all women, educated, 6-figure incomes, degrees out the wazoo, and he gets with all these women, have babies with them. So he doesn't necessarily need to commit because they all can take care of themselves.
So would you consider him a swindler?
Absolutely.
Right.
When you Google him, he has never owned any property. Anytime you see his name is connected to a woman.
Wow.
So you Google him, his name is connected to me. We own a home together.
Right.
You Google him for something else, an apartment he had was with another woman.
Wow.
Like literally nothing on his own.
Wow.
And I came to find this out when we were purchasing our house because he told me he owned a home in Long Island and he lets his parents live there. Come to find out, he has no stakes in that property. The person who owned the home was really the father's girlfriend. Like so many things started to become revealed. And I was like, you are a gigolo.
Right.
I used to call him that.
Right.
And he was so offended because he's a New York City cop, makes 6 figures, but all his money goes to child support for trying to swindle women of status.
Right.
And up to today, I've not taken him to court.
Right.
And people are like, you stupid, because all these women who make either the same amount of money as you, they're still getting maximum from child support. And here you are still not trying to take them. Because for me, I don't want to take another brother down. I don't want him to be part of, I don't want to be part of that whole scene with child support. Like, God will provide. I make more than enough to take care of my children. I don't need him to do so.
Right.
But that's not a good reason not to take him.
Right.
You see? So this idea of
but then how I look at that too, you shouldn't have to beg a father to mind his own child. I think that's your responsibility, and I think it should come where, example, like how your kids have karate and different things. He's supposed to be paying in the stuff for the kids. So in a sense like that, his tail need to be in child support, because you have to now force him, because I can tell you about my sister, she had to bring up the children father to mind them in court, and he was only paying $150 TT for two children. I mean, and that is such a shame.
It's a shame because you actually fix yourself to pay that and think it's okay.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that today he reached out to ask me about karate. Now, he had already promised he was going to be paying. He sporadically pays 1 month here, 6 months later he pays another month. So I just pay it, and if I'm lucky, I get it back. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to allow you to stop my kids from being enriched.
Right.
Will always be enriched, always provide. So they have karate, they have swimming, they have cooking lessons, all kind of stuff. So today he actually paid karate. I was shocked.
Well, that was good.
Screenshot it. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna frame this, But I'm sure it's gonna manifest itself into something else he's not gonna pay, of course.
Right.
I think the less bothered I am, and he sees I'm not bothered by his actions anymore, I'm now starting to see all of a sudden he wants to step up now.
Well,
and it that's not gonna win me back. It's lost is lost. It's done. But I think it's good to read about this, because when you can self-reflect and start to see yourself in these things that psychologists get paid big bucks to write about you, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
For real. It's like, how did I take that? How did I stay in that dysfunction for so long? It's like being a functional alcoholic.
Right.
Like, it's dysfunctional, but you don't know how to survive outside of it.
But,
and when you're outside of it, you're like, how the hell did I survive that?
Right. But they also say change is a process, and at least the process starts with you. And when you know better, you do better, Yeah. But, with relationships, it's not easy. But, as my nephew say now, the dynamics of relationship have changed during the years. And especially now with younger couples who may be in a long distance relationship. And then, you might be living here, the other person might be living out of the country. But you allow that person to have somebody, and you all have an emotional connection. It don't necessarily mean that this person could be in love with the other person. You understand? It just emotionally, He's there, but he said this girl is his girlfriend, but excuse excuse me, but emotionally she's there for him. But again, long distance, but it works for them. You understand what I'm saying? So the dynamics, I think, is changed.
I agree with you. I think for me, the dynamics is like a realistic one, right? Because if you are away and your spouse is in another country or you travel a lot, it's selfish to think that that person doesn't require the same needs than when you weren't traveling.
Right.
It would be selfish for you to say, oh, I'm away, you better not be with another man. Or vice versa. If the woman is the one that travels all the time, oh, I'm always away, you better not be with another woman. Because as human beings, we need connection. Right?
Right.
So I think that these people are being real about their situation.
Yes.
The man is like, I'm an older gentleman. You're young. You have needs. I travel a lot. I provide. It's nice to have a pretty young thing next to me. If you want to do your thing, you do your thing in taste.
Right.
There's something courageous about that. I'm not saying that I would do it, but it's also commendable for someone to look beyond themselves and say, be safe, be smart.
Right. Right.
Courteous.
But that comes with a level of maturity to it. That comes with a level of maturity. Okay.
Emotional maturity, I agree.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Anthony have something here. It depends on the man. My father never mind me, and I made a vow not to have kids until I can afford to, until I was 31 and had my first child. That's Anthony saying that. You know? That's
great. And you know what? That moral compass that you had, unfortunately, not everybody exercises it. So it's wonderful that you learned that on your own, because people like my ex still say they don't know how to be a father because they didn't have a dad growing up.
Right.
And I say, do everything your father didn't do, and that will ultimately make you a better father.
Exactly.
Because you know how you felt not having one or not having one consistently. And to be honest with you, his dad reaches out to my kids. His father takes my kids to school sometime. So I'm like, even if he was a horrible father, he's definitely a good grandfather now.
Right.
So if you mimic that, that would inadvertently make you a better father. So I don't like to hear the excuse, because we all have childhood trauma.
Right.
And we all experience these triggers. But it should not continue to define our present. It should not define our character and our destiny. The trauma is there as a reminder not to do certain things to go back there.
Right.
It's not an excuse to keep using it as a crutch to be incapacitated. And I think as human beings, we don't like to push through. We don't have resilience. So we use the crutch of, oh, I didn't have a dad. Oh, I didn't have my mom.
Right.
Oh, I was homeless. And it's like, it was a situation, it passed. Yes. You're okay now.
Right.
So live like you're okay.
Right.
And I'm teaching myself that now. I've come to learn that over this past month and a half of learning to just say no. Like, I'm not an octopus. I'm not Superwoman. Why do I think I need to prove anything to anybody?
Exactly.
I know I'm a So if I can't make it, I can't be worried about what you're thinking about me because I say I can't make it. But before, that bothered me because I'm such a people pleaser that I would have to make every single event that someone invites me to, knowing it's killing me.
Right.
You know, so it's taking me this time to start to self-reflect and really, truly start to realize, wait a second, this I've been doing and it has not been helping me. It's actually been crippling me.
Right.
Now, opportunity that we need to learn from it. So it's commendable that Jewish couple has done this. I think it's very commendable.
Yeah. And the Asula is saying, I disagree that we all have childhood trauma.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, the majority of people have childhood trauma, especially growing up in the Caribbean country.
You know what? I think we all might have it, but not everybody's affected by those traumas.
Yes.
Because unless you really had a perfect childhood, there's something traumatic that might have happened, but you probably just didn't let it affect you as an adult.
Correct.
So that's the reason why I mentioned the childhood trauma. However, you're right. Not everybody experiences the childhood traumas in the same manner. So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Yes. So basically, I was just saying I think it's commendable for this type of dynamic because you know you start to think there's a reason why there are more women than men in this world. Like there's a reason for that. Yes. Because if it wasn't, God would not let that happen, right? He would make it equal so everybody can have a partner, and there ain't no third wheels, fourth wheels, 10th wheels. You don't have to have that. You know, we always talk about they always say men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Men are visual, women are emotional. Right. Men can be attracted to something and not love it. A woman could love something and not be attracted to it. Like we are like from different planets in the way we exist. However, I think if you can just find the right situation that works for you, then you do your situation. You don't take the judgment of society. It may not be conventional, but you do what works. Because at the end of the day, you sleeping and your pillow talking with that person next to you. Who cares about what people think about you? Exactly. And it's easier said than done because some of us are people pleasers. Some of us care what people think about us, but nobody's in your bed. Right. Except for who's in your bed. Yeah.
But Phillia too, with relationship and the types of relationships now, I find that most women decide if they're single to just stay single and not be bothered. I guess because especially of a particular age group, you know? And I have a lot of I know a lot of people who's older, maybe 61, you know, late 50s, early 60s, that decided that they don't want to be bothered because I guess with the type of men that coming around them to go through the foolishness, they rather to stay single.
Got you. Okay, so prior to me meeting Quan, for instance, right? I was like, after Robert, I'm just done. I don't want to get back into some other relationship with anybody because it's always the same old. There's the courting period. Everything is nice, false promises, and bam, you find yourself back in a situationship. Right. I was like, I just don't want to be bothered. I'm getting older now. I need to make wiser choices. And sometimes you just can't help who you love. Right. And I don't go out looking for these relationships, but I find myself in a relationship. So for me, it was hard at the beginning because I was fighting against getting into a relationship. Right. So even though I'm getting feelings for the person, I was like, this is weird. Like I just got out of something. How am I already in one? And it's just that, and it just started to grow and grow and grow. And it's like, damn it. Like, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop fighting it. I'm just going to pray. We're going to put God in the center of this. If this is going to work, it's going to work. And if it's not, it's going to not. As I said, through that, he got baptized. He's men's group. Our relationship is, we pray every morning and every night. And it's like, it's a relationship that's so different from what I'm used to. Right. And I would not think a guy I just met on a fete or something would probably be the guy who's making me the happiest I've ever been. I would never think that. I never thought it would last. I thought maybe it was going to be casual sex. I don't know, but it didn't turn out to be that. Right. So sometimes our intentions may not necessarily be whatever the plan is supposed to be. So you kind of go along with it without the expectation because then you're not disappointed. And you find appreciation when the expectation is different from what you thought it was going to be. Yeah. So I find myself there now, but it also makes me realize, and I think a friend of mine in Atlanta made me realize that. She said, if you are a good stepmom to all of your previous relationships' kids, why don't you think a guy could be a good stepdad to your kids? And I just never thought of it. I'm like, you're right. Why do I think that I have 5 kids, a man is not going to want me because I got 5 children and I'm 50 and blah, 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 when I've been a wonderful stepmom to all of my ex's kids. Right. In fact, some of them are not close to their father and they're still close to me and still call me mom, even after the 2 failed relationships. Right. Those kids, I still consider them my children. So I'm like, you're right. And once I started to understand that paradigm shift, I think it made me start to open up and say, you're right. Somebody can be good to my children. Right. You know, and I'm seeing that little by little. So I think opening your mind to the type of relationships and not necessarily staying very conventional is a way to explore your relationships.
I think
because
so.
who would think that there are 6 types of romantic relationships?
Exactly, right? So Andy is saying soon the dynamics will change due to no reproduction.
That is such a wonderful point, Andy, because you're right. What happens to people who are, changing sexual organs or conforming, and their identity has changed? And you're right.
Yeah.
That's a very sad truth.
Yeah.
And we are forced to acknowledge, accept, encourage, right? Because that's what our world is teaching us, that there's so many different types of people, so many different types of love, so many different types of everything, that because that's where the world is going towards now. Right. So thank you for bringing that reality back to us.
And I think too, Phillia, if we look back in times with back in way back in times, way before us, it in relationships, it used to always have some infidelity. If you go back from Samson and Delilah, way back. You understand?
Just when I was first Delilah in church, so absolutely.
Yeah. So, with times again and with younger people, it is different. They don't take it like how our parents taught us. You stay with a man, whether he good, bad, or indifference, and you endure that, and you go through it. Young people now, hey, you do me this, I'm out. I'm divorcing you within a year, 2 years.
You do me, I do you. I do you. You doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. That's it. That's how we doing this, right?
Yeah.
And it's like our parents will teach us don't do that.
Yes.
Because a young lady has her place.
Yes.
A young lady cannot compete with a man.
Correct.
A young lady cannot compete sexually like a man, because a man would be considered a don, you a don man, and a woman would be a damn slut, or a hoe, or whatever it is, or a prostitute, and the labels.
Yes.
And we call it slut shaming. You get slut shamed for being promiscuous, or slut shamed for liking man too much. You too like man. You're too like. And at the end of the day, you're still a human being with needs and wants, and societal views have really either pushed people to the edge or not made people be who they really are.
But look at now with society. Look at how much names they label people now. LBGQ2, whatever.
Is becoming the alphabet.
Women who like girls and boys. They don't label themselves as nobody. You have all these toilet now is either gender, no gender. Even if you're filling up a form now, it tells you don't have to give your identity anymore.
You could choose to keep it anonymous.
Right. Him, her. And different things like that. So, with society, I think that, it is a different dynamic, and things are really changing. And the older folks who don't want to get with the program and don't want to be educated on this new genre, they will have problems. It comes just like the internet or computers. They don't want to be computer illiterate. They don't want to, they're scared. So, so just going to the bank, they have less tellers now. Normally, an older person want to go in the line, and get a teller. Now, no. Look at how they're bringing it. They're bringing it now where you go to the grocery, you can check out. Once you have a credit card, you're going to the line. So, I'm saying for the older generation, they need to get up to speed. I'm not saying that, they have to like everything that's going on, but this is the world that we live in now.
Have to be competent. Yeah, that's it. You don't have to like it, but you got to get up to speed, because you're going to get left behind. It's as simple as that. It's really and I think that it's scary because people don't like change. Change is scary, but change is not always for the worse. It's a way to enlighten yourself, to see things from a different perspective. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to realize that everything is changing.
I
Things
think
don't
so.
stay the same.
And I want to come back again to younger people. Now you have these young girls have girlfriends now. They have them from junior high school go up. And
That's correct.
now
Girlfriends and boyfriends.
and boyfriends, but you know, what can you do if you have your kids? You can't disown them. You have you know, I mean, I understand we don't have to understand their living, but you can't just throw them in the garbage bin. They're humans too.
It goes to keep. So I have that situation for myself with my stepdaughter, because I was torn, because for me, one, I'm a stepmommy, right?
Right.
My biological children haven't at least shown signs or interest, I would say, in same sex. Doesn't mean anything because of the way the world is going.
Right.
I'm just watching. But with my stepdaughter, she has, she's going through her moments of same sex, opposite sex, bisex, not sex, whatever. Things. But for me, it's difficult because I'm a stepmom at the end of the day. No matter the fact that I raised her since she was 6 years old, she's now 19 years old. Right. She's not very close to her father, who's the father of my two youngest ones, and not close to my mother, who is still in Guyana. Right. It's like, I try to be supportive, because it's like, I don't want you to think that if I did not support you, that means I don't love you. Right. I'm on a different path than you are, but at the end of the day, I still love you, the core of who you are. This is something that you're experimenting with, whether it's something you think this is your lifestyle. I don't know. All I can do is pray for discernment. Right. Because at the end of the day, I can't judge, So it's difficult for me to be in a position where I'm becoming more aligned with God, and then your child may not necessarily be of what you are learning about Bible. Yes. But you're still a good person and you're still a good parent. So it is something to discuss, because we may sweep it under the rug, but it is something that is a reality. Right. You may be one way, your child will be another. Right. You can't throw the kid out. You can't throw the bathwater out with the baby. No. You have to keep the baby, and you got to figure it out. And I want to commend you too, with just acknowledging your struggles, because there's a lot of parents out there that is going through the same issue with you going through. And having your children, they say we make our children, you don't make the mind, right? Again, you didn't grow up seeing the same sex now, like it have fathers adopting kids, mothers, one carry the child, and you have two mothers or two dads or whatever the case may be. So in relationship, the dynamic have changed throughout the years. That is what I have seen, and as you say, we cannot judge anybody. Everybody have their own cross to bear. And, again, when in your situation, the most you could do is support from a mother point of view, and you're there to love your child to the end. Right. You understand? Amen. Absolutely. Very, very good point. Because you're right. That's that unconditional love. Yes. Because what happens, you can't love your child because you find out your child is gay or bisexual or, non-binary and all the other terms that, we should learn about and educate ourselves with. So how do you combat that as a parent, as a family member, as a sibling? How do you combat that? Yes. And how you combat that if you're in that situation where you feel like everyone is looking at you like you're a sin or you are a stain in their family. Like, it's sad. It's so sad that you can't even just love unconditionally without being labeled.
Correct. So Andy is saying the dynamic have changed, but the truth has not changed.
Okay.
The dynamic have changed, but the truth has not changed.
Yeah. The truth is constant. I agree.
Yeah.
The truth is constant, but also it's also being broadened because so many other elements are being added to that truth as well. Right. But I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. But this thing called relationship, it has a dynamic, you know what I mean?
It does have its dynamics. And I think that, it's like also they say there are many variations within each category as codependent friendships, for instance, or codependent relationships where really the other person cannot function with the other. There's no dependence, right? And I know, like in relationships, heterosexual relationships, a man is supposed to be the provider, the protector, the lover, the this, and the woman is supposed to be the nurturer. But what happens when the man is not that and the woman is the opposite, right?
Yeah.
How do you reconcile that? Because you know tradition and you believe in tradition so much. Or when I used to work for the CEO of GlaxoSmithKline, and her husband stayed home to watch the kids and cook and clean. And she was the breadwinner.
Right.
And I used to find that so fascinating that your husband is okay with you bringing home the bacon. And she's like, oh, he's not babysitting. Those are his children.
Right.
It's not babysitting. He's taking care of his children. And who better to take care of the children than a parent, whether mother or father.
Right.
So I'm going to pay them $2,000 a week for them to beat and kill my child because my child was crying too much and annoyed them.
Right.
I'm not doing that. So and this was back in 2000. We're talking about 23 years ago.
Wow.
That happened. This person was already living ahead of her time.
Right.
But you're seeing more and more of that now. It seemed uncommon.
Right.
But you're finding more and more of these relationships that are happening where you got to let the man not feel emasculated and say, hey, it doesn't mean because I make more money than you mean that you're not a man. I'm still allowing you to be a man.
Yes.
I want you to nurture and provide and protect. Even if I make more money than you, you're still a man. Don't feel like you're not a man because you don't bring home more money than me. That's the only characteristic of being a man, is making more money than your woman.
Yeah. Well, Sherry, the topic for tonight, we're talking about relationship, and we have 7 types of relationship, you say, Phillia? 7 types of relationship. Can you just repeat which one you reach up to?
Okay, so there's dating, committed relationships, marriage, casual relationships, casual sex, situationship, and ethical monogamy. Those are the different types of relationship. And in those relationships, you have codependent, you have sexless, and you have toxic. So these are the different dynamics that go on in these types of relationships that we're going through.
Right. So which one you reach up to now?
So the last one said was the ethical non-monogamy. Actually, I kept saying monogamy. It's actually ethical non-monogamy because monogamy means to stay to one. This is non-monogamy. Right. So again, that is a broad umbrella term for any relationship where people can have multiple romantic sexual partners at the same time. Right. It includes polyamory, open relationships, relationship anarchy, and many other types of relationships between more than 2 people. Ethically non-monogamous relationships can be casual, committed, open, exclusive, dating only, sex only, or some combination of these categories. And people in these relationships may or may not use terms like boyfriend, girlfriend, or partner to describe each other. The 7 types of relationships, according to the psychology, are one framework for romantic relationship in psychology is known as the Sternberg's triangle theory of love, which identifies 3 components of love, passion, intimacy, and commitment. So passion refers to feelings of excitement and attraction. Intimacy refers to feelings of closeness and connection, and commitment refers to the ongoing decision to stay in and nurture the relationship. So depending on which of these 3 elements are present, a couple can find themselves in one of 7 different types of relationships. And they are infatuation, which is passion only.
Right.
Friendship, which is intimacy only.
Right.
Empty love, which is commitment only.
Mm-hmm.
Romantic love, which is passion and intimacy only. Fabulous love or fatuous love, which is passion and commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Compassionate love, which intimacy and commit. And it says consummate love, which is passion, intimacy, and commitment. So I think that one seems to be probably the ultimate one,
Right.
which is consummate, because when you're consummating, you have not just the word love, but you're passionate, you're also intimate,
Mm-hmm.
and you're also committed. I think that one does not, it's like you triangulate the love. That's the one where I said it's wonderful to have all three and to find yourself in a position where you're both passionate. Even if you're with someone for 50 years, you still have passion. You still look in each other's eyes and see that person you fell in love with 50 years ago.
Right.
It doesn't change when a young chick with the nice, BBL is walking by.
Right. Yeah.
Or the young guy with the six pack should not change that passion that you feel, or commitment that you feel, or love that you feel for your significant other.
Right.
So.
Wow.
I think it's really interesting. I'm definitely going to read and research it more, because sometimes you think you know it all, and then you find out that I don't know what kind of love I was loving.
Yes, it's true.
And it helps define what you had, because in seeing these levels, and the different types, I'm starting to realize, wow, I only had, one was commit. Oh yeah, I had empty love in a lot of the relationships, because I was not passionate.
Yeah.
I didn't love them, but I was committed because I'm faithful.
Yes.
So it's like, how can you be faithful to someone you don't love? I'm like, I don't know what I just had. They're like, so you say that you didn't love the person? Nope. But you're faithful to them. Yep. Why?
Yep.
I'm like, because I don't want to be promiscuous.
Right.
That's why I'm faithful.
Yeah.
So I didn't know the name or term for it. Now I know.
No. So it was empty love.
Empty love.
Yeah.
I had empty love in my last relationship. So it's really interesting. But there's names for these things.
Yes, there is names for it. But as I say, the dynamic of dating, the dynamic of being in a relationship now has changed over the years, because what I saw growing up to what we have now has been too different, because people don't really stay with one another for no long time anymore.
Right.
And I mean, for people who in relationship for years and years, they have that dynamic that works for them, I guess, with communication, because you have to have, in order to have a good relationship, I'm sure you have to have a good communication, and you have to have or love your partner that much to stick with him or her.
Right.
So, and then you have the love.
I agree with communication is key, like you said.
Yeah. And then you have the love now with the children. What dynamic relationship you portray to your kids. As you say, unconditional love. They will be in our life forever. So we always give them, I think, number one, unconditional love. You know what I'm saying? So the dynamic has really, really changed. And, I have seen, for my little 52 years of life, I've seen so many things. And I've seen life where it is a cycle. And I see where even style is a cycle. Long ago you have bell-bottom pants coming back in. Long time you have tight clothes. Now, so everything is a cycle. Everything is a cycle.
It is a cycle. Absolutely. The afros, I'm seeing so many kids with Michael Jackson afros. I'm like, what is going on? I feel like I'm back in the 70s. It's beautiful to watch, but fashion never really goes away. Style doesn't go away. It just cycles itself and comes back. So I think I like the fact that we talk about the relationships, the passion, and then the children, because what happens is that you become complacent sometimes when you start to have a family, because you're like, well, I'm expected to be out of shape because I just had a baby, or I'm expected to be not at my game because I work so and so hours to provide for my wife and children, or I'm expected to be like, the person fell in love with you for those things that they fell in love with you for. They could still be in love with you, but you met what they fell in love with you with and for. It doesn't mean because you have the love means you have to slack. You should still try to upkeep yourself in a way that keeps you attractive to that person. Because if they love you, then they love you no matter what.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean take advantage of the fact that, oh, he loves me. I could be in this bonnet all day with the granny panties.
Yes.
You know, all day, or vice versa. I could be in these stewy pajama pants all day, and my gut hanging out,
Yes.
and not looking my best, and eating horrible food, and whatever the case might be. Because when she met me, I was dapper, I was into myself, I was nice, smelling cologne, this and that. Now, oh, she got me already, I smell like a sandwich.
Right.
Like, that's not attractive, right? But what happens, we become complacent because we think that we've been in a relationship for a long time, so the person loves us anyway. It's not a big deal to get pretty up.
So Sherry saying 19 years, I'm still in love with my husband. Funny, he loves me, but not in love. A lot of people are together, but not passionate in love no more. For me, God is love, but some people just go along, right? Some people go along with, hold on.
That's a beautiful testimony.
Yeah, some people go along with it till there is a way out with no remorse. Sad, I believe having a relationship with God is very important to keep that genuine feeling.
Yes.
Right?
I love that, Sherry. Thank you so much. That warmed my heart to hear that, because honestly, when you put God in the center of your love, everything feels better. Even when you stray and you feel like, oh, I'm not feeling this, and God is in the center, you pray and you feel better. You ask for discernment, you feel better. You ask God to hear him, you feel better. You ask God to trust him, you feel better. You ask God to obey him, you feel better. So you put him in the center. That is the answer. Now, in terms of you still loving and feeling what you feel, I think that is so beautiful, because you have not lost the essence of what true love is. We think love is passion. It's not. Love is kindness, and love is all the fruits in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
It's all the things that are giving and generous and kind, and and I think when we don't lose that essence, that's really the version of true love that we all should have for each other. So absolutely, I think it's a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing that testimony and giving some of us hope of that kind of love for so many years.
Andy saying, in research, check out the 5 love language by Dr. Gray Chapman.
Yes.
So
yes.
You say you could...
We've gone over the love languages. Yes. Let me see if I remember them off the top of my head. So there is gift giving, acts of kindness, words of affirmation, words of affirmation, quality time, and I think affection or touching or something like that, right? Yes. So there are people who need to express themselves in that way. So sometimes you can have a partner where their love language is different from you. I think it's important to take time to learn what the love language of that person is. And if you don't know it, they can take a personality test. They have them all over. You just send the link and let them take the personality test, and you would know what love language they are. I think that is really the best way to communicate between each other or amongst each other. It's the best way, because once you understand each other's love languages, you'll know what not to do, what to do and what not to do.
And he's saying acts of service. Acts of service.
Yes, acts of service. That's my love language, actually. If you are kind to me and you are like, oh, let me take this to your car, let me pick up your child for you, or hey, you got me. Like, I'm so enamored because I do that for people. Like, I will be willing in a heartbeat to help out in any kind of situation. Right. So when someone shows that is, you don't have to say I love you for me to know you love me.
Correct.
Just that alone. Yeah, so that's good. Thank you for bringing that up.
Andy, you know, we like to hear from you, use the experience. Very experienced
Thank you, Andy.
on
Thanks
it,
for the expertise.
Yeah, and
Thank
Carly now
you.
join us. She says she missed a lot, but you can pick it up on YouTube when I download it.
Yes.
So, Phillia, I want to give away a ticket for swag. Remember, guys, swag is next week, Saturday, June the 17th.
We've been talking about this for a year.
Yeah.
And it is here, baby. Sexy women and
gentlemen. Yes. So, guys, now if you were a winner before, you cannot participate. Give somebody else a chance. And yes, swag it will be the 17th of June to 2023. It's an all-inclusive event, and I want to name 6 guests that I had on my show. If you can name 6 guests that I have on my show, the ticket is yours. So we have a giveaway for today and one for next week. If nobody get it, then we give away 2 next week.
All right.
All right, so it's 9:01.
You let the person type in the chat or what? Or what's happening?
Yeah, they had to type it in the chat.
Yes.
Let me see.
What's the timer?
Phillia and Quan.
Yeah, that's paying attention to detail. They deserve that ticket. Because I've been on the show and I don't even know the 6 guests.
Okay, Andy Asola, Phillia and Quan, showing Winchester, Janelle, yes, Alison McLeod. Okay, we have a winner here. We have Afia. Okay, and Afia. Yeah, and Afia name a lot. That means Afia tuning in.
Afia, you did more than the 6, eh?
Yeah, Andy, she have Andy Asola. She have Phillia and Quan, showing Winchester, Janelle, she have Alison McLeod, Mike Totoli, Mr. Purley, John Beckford, Laurie Campbell. Yes! Damn, Afia. Yes! Yes, awesome. yes, awesome. Afia, you are the winner, honey. Yes. So, we have a winner. Afia, thank you so much. And yes, when I see you
watching, paying attention.
Yes.
You're avid and love and support. We love you, Afia. You deserve it.
Yes. And I want to say, Dane, I hope you feel better. I know you wasn't feeling well, but I hope you feel better, So in closing, guys, we want to say have a blessed, wonderful, and safe week. Phillia, you want to say anything?
Yes, we are so happy and just happy for your commitment and loyalty. We pray that you always remember to be kind to one another. We hope that all the things that we're doing on this show resonates with you so that you can apply it to your daily lives, because it's all about each one, teach one. We love you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. So with that said, again, I'm on location in Punta Cana. My friend and I are going out for dinner now. So see you guys next week, God's willing. Have a blessed, wonderful, and safe week.
Bye.
All right?
Bye.
Afia, congratulations. Good one. Bye, Phillia. Love you. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for logging in. See you guys.